castle stands on the outskirts of the modern-day Millom town, but once was at the very heart of the town.
The ruins you can see behind us date from 1335 and were erected after Edward III had granted a licence to Trinity.
Although the large peel tower at the centre of the complex may well have been built in phases from the mid-14th to 17th century. This is now a privately owned farmhouse. The original castle was built by Godard de Boisville in around 1134 AD and would have been an earth and timber structure known as a motte and bailey castle. In 1240 AD, the castle was passed to the Huddleston family. It was to John Huddleston that the licence to crenellate was granted. This crenellation was needed as a defence against the Scottish raids happening at the time.
A moat was also constructed at some point, and you can still see the earthworks where the moat would once have been. The moat would have surrounded the entire castle complex and been filled with water. It is from the 14th century that most of the remaining ruined walls date from, many of which are 5 feet thick.
Impressive as the castle walls and defences were, they suffered significant damage from attacking Lancastrian forces in 1460. Then, during the Civil War in 1644, the castle was captured by parliamentarian forces and later, in 1648, damaged heavily in a cannon attack. Although repairs were undertaken in 1670, the castle was again in ruin by 1739.
Now let's take a tour of the castle. We come through the thick outer walls into the courtyard of the castle. There are some interesting features in here, but we'll come to them later. First, let's go into the undercroft. This is the undercroft, which would have been used as a storeroom for the castle. Above this room would have been the great chamber, where the lord of the castle would have lived and slept. If you look carefully at the walls, you will see the holes where wooden beams would have sat to support the first floor. Now you can head back through to the courtyard.
Here we are again in the courtyard. The courtyard is surrounded by the undercroft, the large central peel tower and the kitchen. Here, next to the kitchen, we have an interesting feature. This piece of carved sandstone is where a portcullis once would have been. A large gate would have slid down into the slot, acting as a defence against attackers, although it would have been raised to allow access for friends and family. Now, if we go this way, we can head through to the kitchen block. This is the kitchen block, where all of the food for the castle would have been prepared. You can still see some of the original kitchen features, such as the large fireplace behind me. Some of the walls have, in Victorian times, been propped up using brick to save them from falling down, although most of the original walls are still present. This room would have once been filled with a hustle and bustle of food preparation, a feast being created for the awaiting lord and lady. Once prepared, the food would have been sent through the doors to the Great Hall.
This is the Great Hall. This is where all the dining and entertaining will have taken place. Light would have poured in through the large windows, illuminating the hall. Big wooden tables would have stretched the width of the hall for the lord, lady and guests to sit at while feasting on freshly prepared food. This would have been the life and soul of the castle.
It was in the 15th century that the massive peel tower at the centre of the complex was started. The outer buildings later became ruin, but the peel tower stayed largely intact, and as you can see, still stands proudly today.
The castle remains a constant reminder of Millom's ancient past, and is an impressive structure to behold.
Although not open to the public, we hope you can appreciate the history and significance the castle retains.